Hey y'all, whether it's morning, evening, or afternoon, I'm just glad that you guys had decided to vibe out with yes. Hey y'all, if you're new, welcome. And for the ones that are not new to this but true to this, hey y'all, what's up? What's poppin'? I hope y'all feeling amazing, doing amazing, and just being amazing overall. And if not, it's okay, it's all right, my friends, because bad times don't last forever. Because after every storm, there is a rainbow, and you're getting closer and closer every day to that rainbow, pot of gold, light in the tunnel, whatever you prefer. Okay. So, as y'all know, we are in May, and it's getting down to the wire. We're getting into June, but before we get into June, that's a little summertime feeling, all that good stuff. May, we're still honoring and celebrating Mental Health Month, and y'all know I'm a big person that is but believer in that strives for mental health within everything, especially within our community. And with this topic today and with my guest today, mental health plays a big role within this career path as well. So without further ado, I want you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy hearing the show or watching us. So without further ado, today I'm going to introduce our guest for today, a very intelligent woman who is passionate about a field that I'm also passionate about, and who is actually going to my alumni university. So without further ado, I introduce you guys to Dylan. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to go straight into vibing out with you today.
So I'm Dylan. First of all, thank you so much for having me. We already follow each other on Instagram. I be watching the episodes. We tuned in. But I was just excited to talk about something that we both passionate about with social work. So I'm excited.
Yes, I was when I seen her form, y'all, I was like, dang, that would have been also perfect to talk about too during March for Women's Month and Social Work Month. But it's okay because I feel like it's never too late to talk about social work. That's something that's really popular now, that people are now paying attention to and really taking seriously, because as students from undergrad going to master's program, and even before we even got into the program, we will always hear, oh, social workers didn't make no money, oh, all they do is take away people's kids. That's
my God, I'm so glad you said that.
that's not what social work is. Like, social work is really in all different types of fields. You got business social workers, healthcare, school social workers, mental health social workers, substance abuse. Like, social work is very broad. Like, it's a very variety of social workers in the world. It's not just the ones that take kids away. You're thinking about CPS and DSS. No. It's multiple ways and aspects of being a social worker, as well as license. No, you don't have to have license at times, but they recommend you want the bigger bucks, get the license or whatever. But yes, social work is everywhere. Okay, so let's just get that out the way right now.
So please stop thinking we trying to take your kids, because we're not.
I love children. Everybody know that's my passion, being a school social worker. I'm not taking your kids. No.
Yeah, that's like the first thing people say when you say, oh yeah, I'm going for social work. Oh, you trying to take people's kids? No, I'm not. And even if I was to work with CPS, DSS, most likely 9 times out of 10, I'm trying to better that child's situation.
Yes.
And not because I want to take the kids. Nobody should be taken away from their family, their mother, their father. But if it's bettering their situation, their health, everything, I'm going to have to do my job.
Yeah. And going back, it's so crazy you say that, because going back to my paper, I did focus on child abuse and neglect. It's very heavy, and it's very a situation that's not being talked about as much. And as we seen firsthand, it's crazy. And like Dylan said, we're not trying to take the children, but if we see something like child neglect is something that you can very see, like from not taking care of your child and certain things going on, that's when we have to step in and be like, look, got to make some arrangements. And I seen it firsthand too, and I never would thought I would have to see that, but it's like, this what comes with the territory.
Yeah.
So
this conversation will go great, because it's so crazy. I did a paper in undergrad too about literally unrecognized, like, child abuse, child neglect, and like how it's so unseen, unnoticed in our community, especially. And it was rough writing that paper. It was just looking at the statistical part of it. I'm like, wow. because a lot of people don't even know the difference between abuse and neglect. So just getting between the basis of those lines, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. Because then I want to work with kids. But on the other side of it, it's like, can my heart handle this?
Yeah.
So I've always been told, at times you're going to have to separate your work from your feelings.
Yes.
And
and that's very, very hard, especially like for us to have a passion working for children. That's where they say for us all the time, you have to be empathetic, you have to have compassion, and you have to be able to listen to them.
So if I gotta do all of that, and then you want me to separate my heart from this? Oh no.
I'm not gonna lie, like even at my internship as an undergrad at my old elementary middle school, connecting with the girls, it just had me backtrack like when I was in their shoes in middle school, and it was just like, dang, oh my gosh. And then like it would crack me up too, because certain stuff I would say to them, they'd be like, what does that mean? What that mean? And I'm like, dang, I'm old. I never thought, because when we were younger, like, dang, you're old. And now, like, we're right there. And we're teaching them in the cycle, repeating or whatever. But working with children, especially within our community, and seeing how things are brought up, especially going back with Dylan talked about child abuse and neglect, it's one of the situations that's very sticky, that's not being addressed. And it needs to be addressed, because that's where most people think of social work as just taking your kids, DSS and CPS. And seeing it firsthand with dealing with DSS and CPS, they get to the bottom of what's going on, because their main mission is to make sure the child is somewhere safe at all times, and trying to make sure that if it's some arrangement needs to be made, where can they go? Who can go? And most of the time, the saddest sit downs I had, some of them didn't even have people like family to go to, and that's where it's like, okay, foster care becomes the next option, and that's a part of child welfare.
But even that's not the best option, especially if you got siblings. Because I know, they try to keep siblings together, but how well are they trying? And then it can go into age, like you separating kids from their brothers and sisters, and that can be hard on their mental too. My siblings are the only people I have, and you're taking them away from me.
Yeah.
Like, the realm is just so big.
Very.
And it can go so deep. I don't know. Social work is. I'm be a social worker for life.
Yeah. So, and the crazy thing is, social work is something that. And it's so funny, from going back to the session I had with my friends, and my friend, her mom said she didn't think it was for her until she fell in love with it.
Right.
And it was so crazy, because I had that conversation too. Like, I have so many things I want to be in life. I want to be a lawyer, but it all impacted with children. But being a social worker was like, I don't know. But when I was like, okay, taking the courses, and I was like, okay, this for me, and then children, I'm like, okay, all right, we get in here. And it's like sometimes certain careers will find you, and like I felt like it found us, especially too dealing with children in our community, and then where we're from.
Hello. You gotta have an advocate everywhere you go. Hello.
Literally, because once again, this is Baltimore. This ain't nowhere else.
And you really gotta understand, the culture of Baltimore is so different from everybody else. So if you don't get it, you just don't get it. Everybody else gonna get it, but you're not, and that's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
It is. And I try all the time on here to give y'all a look, because like, y'all, I be seeing people listen from everywhere, give y'all insights and stuff, because it's needed. It's needed, especially social media. Instagram plays a big part, and people be like, "Oh my God, this is good." No, let me give you let me give you a little different aspect. I try to give nothing but the positive. Everywhere you go, it is going to be positive and negative, but we like to focus on the positive, and especially within social work. We're trying to do as much as we can positive, whatever aspect, dealing with child welfare, social work, hospital, healthcare, anything, you have to make sure you're giving nothing but the positive. Because it's a person, you have to make sure that it's good at all times. Because people also confuse social work and therapist. No.
Yeah, you can be a social worker, but you can also be a therapist. You can do that together, but you can also do it separately. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people merge the lines with that too. I'm like, I'm not a therapist, but I can be.
Yeah.
I can be, because therapy goes into like a whole nother thing with psychology and the clinical part of it. So you really gotta just do your research.
Yeah.
And figure out like the differences, because there are a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot, especially too, like seeing firsthand with working with social workers, counselors, psychologists, and they're psychologists dealing with a lot of numbers every day.
Yeah.
Every day dealing with a number. We're dealing with a caseload too, and it's mainly notes.
Yeah.
Because these notes travel, not even just with children, adults too. Mm-hmm. Adults, children, whoever you serve, you have to keep notes. It's called SOAP notes. You have to keep those notes together, because you never know who may else see this.
Yeah.
So if you're not a good note taker too, that's one thing too. It's like you're crushed. You're crushed in this in this field, regardless of what type, even if you're licensed or not, notes are very, very, very important, because that also keeps record of what's going on, if anything has changed with the client or you or the social worker or caseworker beforehand. Things like that. Therapists, they deal with a lot of numbers, like analyzing this, how this, and this present. No. Us, straight notes. Make sure, like, if anything happened, did they move here, did this?
You gotta document
everything. And the thing, too, my supervisor told me, too, it's like summary, but not giving so much of the details.
And you know what? Like, right now, at my job, I work at Future Care, right? Mm-hmm. So because I don't have my license, they just said there's certain documentation I can't do. Yep. Mm-hmm. So now with the documentation that I can, I try to put enough detail, but also try to not put like the whole conversation word for word. Mm-hmm. And that's hard for me, because it's like I'm listening and I'm remembering everything. Yes. And that's another thing. If you can't keep up with what's being said, you cooked.
You're really
cooked. But that is like, okay, I mean, and I've also learned to type while I'm listening, because I don't want to miss nothing. And you just really gotta learn how to document correctly. But now I try to make sure I have all my I's dotted and T's crossed, especially now, like, because it's healthcare. The state comes in and they look at everything. They look at everything. So we definitely making sure we get everything covered piece by piece by piece, so that we're not falling short on our department. But it is tough when you got a lot going on.
Yes. And then what I love too with an undergrad, when I took field placement, my professor, she was on our behind about process recording. Process recordings help you too with them. Once you get into the field, it helps you be an active listener and type down. Because when I heard process record, I'm like, what is that? Like, process. Oh, I gotta record what they say and then process it and type it. But process recording is basically, like Dylan said, when you're listening to what's going on, type it, but make sure you're getting the main stuff, like the main information. Because I'll never forget my first process recording I did it with my supervisor and a student, because when you're an undergrad, you have to do nothing but group.
Yeah.
Masters, that's when you get in the field, you do individuals and stuff. But masters, that's where the big boy. All right, you can take this, you can do groups and individuals, but undergrad is nothing but groups. And I ain't gonna lie, I loved it. That was me.
Really?
I love group.
Oh,
I love group.
Gosh.
I loved it, because once you get a feel, I was working with children. Once you get a feel of the children and stuff, it's like, okay, and you know who's who. It's like, all right, I know what's going on today. I know what's going to may happen today. And then just like the flow of it was just like, oh my gosh. And then right after a conversation, I'm a real big active listener, and I'm nosy too a little bit. So it's like, it was so good for me. And then like right after they leave or whatever, it's like, okay, this will happen. This the topic. This da da da. Now individuals, my first individual one. Oh God, that thing was like 5-6 pages long. and our process records had to be at least 3 to 5 pages. Mine was like 5-6 pages long, because depending on the situation too, dealing with children is like, goodness. Now healthcare, that is something that I want to dig a little deeper into, and I'm glad Dylan mentioned that, because at one point in time when I did my research for Morgan's social work, I'm like, okay, healthcare make a lot of money, because my mom's also in healthcare.
My mom is too.
So it's like, with your mom in there, and they like, yeah, you'll be a social worker in this place. It's everywhere. But then I was like, because I worked at a future care too. And when I had just started community college, I did dietary. So learning about their diet, everything like that. And when the dietitian would come down, it was rare you ever seen a social worker. And I would always ask, just ask the questions, because I was going to school for it. And then I was like, nobody really giving me what I want to hear. Yeah. So now hearing a student that's in the profession and everything, how does that go? Like, everyday type of environment. Oh my gosh.
Honestly, I'm not gonna say future care it's definitely a learning experience, especially because I got the job soon as I finished school. But it's definitely a learning experience, just working with the different residents and just seeing like different cases. It's a skilled nursing facility, so they have short-term and long-term care. And the long-term care I'm pretty familiar with, because I did my internship at Autumn Lake during undergrad. Ooh. So I just felt like, dang, I got the experience from that. I can do this. I can handle this. Now, when I first got there, and then you also got to think I'm new. Yeah. So, and these residents, they older residents, like they older adults, so they not gonna be open arms as soon as I get there. They gonna be like, "Who are you?" And that's kind of how it went. Yeah. My first couple of weeks, I was getting fussed at every other day, but you learn to like get past it. That's another thing. Yeah. My supervisor told me, "You gotta have tough skin for this job." I said, "Oh, please believe, please believe I do." So it's just, I don't know. Really. You really have to have a heart for it. You really have to have a passion for it. Because working with older adults, they do have a lot of different stuff going on. We have residents in there who are facing homelessness, who don't have like anybody who come to see them. So, and then another thing, a lot of the residents here is social work, and then they think we're supposed to do everything under social work. So, like the social security and stuff like that. And then we just have to redirect, like, we don't handle that realm, but we do have, like, our business office can handle that realm. So, that's always where the line is crossed, too. I don't want to say crossed, but that's where it get blurred. Because they're like, okay, well, what do you all do? And it's really, we're just the in-house social work. So, we really just handle the issues that's in the building. Like, if families have grievances, that's what we following up on. And that could be a toughie as well. Families, it's the different circumstances for each resident, whether they're there long-term care, short-term, like what got them in there from the beginning. Families can definitely be tough to handle. But I've learned to have thick skin with them as well. Because quite honestly, I don't blame families for coming in and having concerns, having questions about like the care that their family member is receiving, but at times they can come off a certain way, like aggressive. And I get it, but again, this is what I do. Please, like, at least try to let me do my job a little bit. And then I don't know, honestly, older adults are just like kids. They're just like kids. Yeah. And everybody, it's somebody, and I'll do it every day. Miss Dylan, Miss Leona. I don't do that. But we try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Try to do everything we can for them, because everybody got something different going on. Yeah. And they really just need answers. Not need, but they want. They need and want these answers. And if nobody else giving it to them, then we're the first ones they coming to for literally everything. Whether it be nursing, dietitian, and
it is so crazy, because like it's for, she's not lying, it's happening hand in hand. Like even dealing with adults and children, like for children, anything dealing with stuff for counseling, I don't know that. Like high school choice, I don't know that. No, and I'm here to
My
make
high
sure
school
you.
choice was hard.
Right.
Not hard. It was easy. I knew what school I already wanted to go to.
Because my supervisor, I seen it firsthand. I was like, huh? You be surprised because when they hear social work, it's like, all right, you wear, and the crazy thing is we do wear so many hats under our belt and we don't know it, especially dealing with adults too. Like going back what Dylan said, the families coming in there. As a person that worked on the opposite side of it, I seen families would come in, give the social worker hell.
Oh my gosh.
And it'd be like, sometimes like certain stuff we cannot really talk on because it's not in our department. Especially like what she mentioned too, if it's nursing, certain stuff is like, I can't talk about it unless the nurse had reported to me.
Right.
And social workers in general for every field are mandated reporters. So if something was to happen and the social worker didn't report it, the nurse didn't report to the social worker, it's like, I don't know what to do, especially within the family.
Yes. That is another thing. I'm not gonna say names and stuff because HIPAA, but I had a resident. They was getting down and dirty.
Oh, geez.
They was like older than my grandmother, y'all. So I gotta talk to these residents to figure out what's going on, because then it's like some people in there can't make their own decisions. So, and this was a case, and I'm like, okay, the line can be crossed because it's like, is this a predatory thing? And so we definitely had to dig deep into that. And she ended up wanting to discharge home because she couldn't get her freak on. But stuff like that, I'm just like, this is my first time seeing this, and it's like, what do I do? Do I tell these residents' families that they, bumping and grinding because I'm a social worker, but then again, like, am I allowed to?
Yes.
And my supervisor was like, certain stuff the state has to report to.
Yeah.
So like, I was like, great, the state can handle that because I don't think I can.
Yeah, because and it's crazy too, as social workers, you will get thrown stuff you never thought you'd be thrown.
I was so shocked.
Like, I would be scared. I'd be like, because that's another thing too. In class, y'all, my professor, shout out to Professor Vaughn. Oh my gosh. She would used to put the metal to the metal with me. These questions, I'd be like, because she said, for example, same thing with a student, if like we just go on real life scenarios, if it was to happen, because my professor was also a school social worker and she has her own clinical and stuff like that, therapist or whatever. So she was like, if y'all were schools, y'all in schools, whatever, and y'all had a client, same thing like Dylan said, and they tell you like, yeah, I'm doing this. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm telling the parent, letting them know like what's going on. She was like, okay, but certain stuff is like, gotta break down to make sure before it blow up. Now, if it was something like a situation happened, if the child was to have a child, then yeah, that's like everybody need to be involved. But it's just one thing, it was just like, okay, how would you handle this? You'll talk about it, let them know the safety, da-da-da-da. But me, I'm like, it's a child, she doing this, she doing that. Let her parents know.
Yes.
And she was like, oh, I love the passion, but wait. We got to break it down. And it's like, certain stuff we can handle, and then certain stuff is like, it has to go this way. Because going back to that mandated report, it's like, it's for real. And then also, too, dealing with both nursing and dealing with children. What used to grind my gears is if the person that's either a nurse or a teacher see it first, they're not reporting it. They report it straight to the social worker. I'm like,
and that's what is blowing my mind too, because you are a nurse, you are a registered nurse. You're supposed to report it first.
Yes, and because you've seen everything.
You literally seen piece by piece what's going on.
All we can do as the social worker is to guide you on making the report to the board. Yep. Like, for example, with that situation with Dylan, if the nurse seen it, help her or him, guide them into how to handle it. Same thing for a teacher. I'll never forget my first ever staff meeting I had to be on, and we broke down the Baltimore City handbook rules, because that's when child neglect and everything.
Yep.
They were like, so if something happened with little Johnny and whatever, I I got to report it right away and not tell you? Yes. You report it because you seen the incident. I can't report it right away because I didn't see it. Right. Unless if we're there together, yes. But if you seen it, I'm here to help you on the phone or on the iPad, the computer. Yep. This to say this, to say that. Because that's where also, too, they take that in as notes. Because that's when CPS, DSS, whatever, come out there and the board, state, everybody going to figure out what's going on to do the investigation. And trust me, I understand, too, for teachers and nurses, doctors and stuff. It's like, okay, I don't know, but it's a learning experience. Because sometimes they're scared, too. Because I've seen it firsthand. They're scared because, like, all right, I'm reporting this, but how do I go? And it's okay to let the social workers help you, but I'm not doing it for you.
I'm not at all.
I'm not doing it for you. No, we're not doing it for you.
The nail on the head, because honestly, me and my supervisor, we feel like we're doing everybody's job on top of ours.
Yeah.
And future care is a fever dream, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, but it's like, I don't know, and it's really a lot of the nursing that goes into it. Because my thing is, I'm young in there. Mm-hmm. Everybody in there is older than me, probably like the same age as my mother or older.
And that's the thing too. I talked to my mother about. I'm like, bro, I'm about to become a social worker. We'll have our license fresh out, 23, 24, whatever. Literally. Working with children and adults, especially adults. They're going to look at you like, how you going to help me? I got a license.
Hello? Like, I would do some admissions and
I got the degree.
Yeah, I'm the social work assistant. And they like, social work? You look real young to do so. I am young, but I got my degree. Please. I have my degree. I have my education. And I'm continuing my education. Please do not take that for granted. I'm smart.
That's one thing that is talking about what is not, like, for us and we're young black women in the field. You don't see a lot of black social workers.
You don't.
Because that's the thing, too, when people, especially dudes, oh my gosh. You tell a dude you better be a social worker or you take kids away.
No, I'm not, dummy.
No. I'm like, no.
Like, oh my gosh.
And then they be like, what's the purpose? And then you break it down, they still lost. It's like, you know what? It's a learning experience for everybody.
Yeah, it stressed me out, but I love the field so bad. And like, I'm still learning. I'm still grateful for being able to learn new stuff. But that nursing, I'm gonna have to come back to that because I can't. They stress me out so bad, y'all. Like, I don't know. They think they don't. They think they know how to do my job.
I be like, hey, same thing too. Like when I did my internship I was in a hall. Like I loved how my old elementary middle school had like broke down a hall. It's nothing but people that work with barely the social, like basically the social science. Mm-hmm. Everybody got the degree, the license. IEP chair people, you got your counselors, the social workers. We're all here together. When the teachers come, they break it down this stuff. I'd be like 504 plan and stuff like that. I'd be like, do you know what it is?
Right.
Like, do you know if they have it? And you break it down. And then certain stuff they come to us about, it really don't be like going back to the counseling. School counseling, they handle like stuff. I didn't even, certain stuff. I was like, oh, I didn't even know. I thought social workers could handle it too.
Right.
No. And my social worker, she was very big on, look, if it doesn't impact with IEP, because she do the homeless stuff too, I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
And sometimes too, if you don't even have children on your caseload and adults on your caseload, and you're just that type of social worker that they know for a fact will get it done, that's where the issue comes in too. Because it's like, all right, children, prime example. At my internship, we had a routine. I love a good routine because I do not like to be bored. If stuff is going on, I'm going to figure out something. Yeah. In the morning, we would get the kids off the bus. These are children that have IEPs, some that we know for a fact just is for safety that they can't walk themselves home and stuff. So the bus is a very, very good thing. 2 buses. Make sure they're good, stuff like that. When it comes times for meetings, I sat on some meetings with IEP, the children, because that's a billing service. And certain stuff like dealing with children and adults, it's billing. If it don't get done, that money is down the drain. And that's the services that they need, that people be like, For what though? It's needed, especially when in school. It's so bad because, excuse me, they only get 30 minutes because if you take up most of the children's time, it's a whole other ball game. Prime example: when I did for the girls, I had 6th grade girls, and I would do groups with them, helping them with emotional support and helping them like self-esteem, affirmation stuff. And lunchtime was the only time that I could really do it because that's their time. And I'll never forget one session I had my students, once you get familiar with your clients, your students, whatever, they put it in your hands and they don't want to leave and they don't want to miss a session. One day, I don't know what happened. It was just like, I'm not coming. Such and such said this. Excuse me. Somebody said they was going to give me this. Now, one thing I learned, within my case management class, when it comes to us social workers, case managers, whatever, promising your client something is a big no-no.
Don't make no promises.
That you cannot keep. And everything that I tell them, I make sure, I'm going to try. Don't try out there a lot. Because promise, they're going to eat you up for Phil. Especially children and adults, too.
Especially older adults. They be on me.
You tell them you promise you're going to get, and they'll get it. The whole world is like, you're nothing to them after that.
After that, it's a done deal. They don't want nothing to do with you. They don't want to work with you, and that's it.
No. And I seen it firsthand, y'all. And it threw me for a loop. Because I was like, it was a good day. Halloween right around the corner. So I'm like, okay, we ready to have some fun. No, it was Thanksgiving. We're like, we're going to have some fun, They didn't show up. I said, why y'all ain't show up?
And what did I miss?
Right. And it wasn't my fault. My supervisor was like, it's not your fault. It's also, too, within the staff, when you make the promises, it affects them for the things that they're supposed to be focusing on. Right. It just goes through the roof. Right. And she said, too, now, if this was a billing situation, same thing. Even the kids that have IEP or not, they sometimes are like, I don't want to do it. And then sometimes it makes it hard. Even with adults, it makes it hard because it's like, now I got to reschedule this and try to tie it in so I won't get in trouble for the bill and everything like that. And when that happened, y'all, I was crushed because I was like, what did I do? And then I talked to them. Well, some of them was like, it's not your fault. It's such and such was like this and this. I said, okay. And y'all, it had me like, dang, this what comes with the territory, though. And then sometimes going back to the training that we had to do for them, we had to even let them know mandate reporting, and you can't promise these students everything because they're on your butt, they on you, and then it affects the whole day. And it makes us like, dang, what did we miss? So I can imagine for adults and the nursing home.
They stress me out so bad because it's we really, what we really do, we really handle, I don't want to say we only do discharges, but that's a main factor in what we do. So I'll never forget one resident, he was there, and mind you, he was homeless. And so he was supposed to be going back, he was supposed to be discharged to his previous shelter that he was in. Mind you, this is probably my second, third week of work. So I'm still trying to get familiar with residents. Please, I just thought it. Please give me a second. But he was supposed to discharge. Mind you, he's on dialysis, so we also set that up. It's a lot of new stuff. When I say this has been a great learning experience for me, I really am grateful for it because now I know how to do stuff that I didn't even think I was going to have to do. Setting up dialysis is a process, and I know how to do it now. Setting up Coumadin clinics, stressing. And then I had a discharge. I was in there by myself one day, and this was when I first started. I was in there by myself. Oh, and no. They, my second week of work, my supervisor went on vacation, and she was gone for a whole week. And they said that they was going to have somebody come in there and help me. That man was only in there for 2 days out of the week to help me. And we had a resident who was discharging, and he was on dialysis. At this time, I didn't know how to set it up. So I'm like, I don't know. But I tried my best, and he got up out of there. But the resident who was homeless, literally, I wanted to cry so bad. Because I texted my mother, like, come get me right now. Because I was like, y'all really threw me to the wolves.
Literally.
And I was not expecting it. But, like, I got him discharged. It was safe. And it was fine. But a lot of times it don't go that way. Like, we have scheduled discharges, and then we also have unplanned discharges. And then with the unplanned discharges, they can go either way.
Yes.
They can be safe, or they can be unsafe. And when it's unsafe, everybody's looking at social work. Because why is it unsafe? Listen here. It's unsafe not because of us. We go based off of nursing and rehab.
Yep.
And a lot of times, it's the skilled nursing side. Because they're there for rehab. So, you know, when they come in, we get the discharge plans from them. A lot of these people are planning to go back home alone, home with family. And then a lot of times they get in there and it seems like they're making progress. But then when it's time to discharge, the rehab team's like, oh no, we prefer that they either stay long-term care or assisted living. And then they don't have that conversation with them.
And I was about to say, that is a big issue.
Yes.
Like, y'all, I have never did healthcare social work yet. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, the thing about, too, like I said, going back to social work is so, like, a variety.
Yep.
You could do anything.
Yep.
Once you get when you have that degree, license or not,
you can really go anywhere.
Anywhere.
I really feel like I'm glad I'm getting this nursing experience now because, woo, Chile. Like, they don't have, the thing, if rehab doesn't have that conversation with them. And I feel like that is a conversation that they need to have because y'all are working with them hands-on to get them back to their baseline so they can go home. So we go do it. And they like, oh no, I'm not doing long-term care because that's a whole nother process in itself. I don't want to go back to an assisted living. Why would I go to an assisted living? I have a house. I get it because I got a house, I'm paying bills. Why am I going to an assisted living? So it's stuff like that that makes it difficult for us too because that's a difficult conversation to have with somebody, especially if they have kids, if they have bills that they still paying for. Oh my gosh, I'll never forget. We had this one resident. She came in and she had a daughter. Her daughter was in middle school. And she was there for a minute. She got a discharge date from her insurance company and she appealed and she won. Cool. But rehab was recommending that she stay long-term care. And we was like, that's not, we already know that's not going to happen. Because she already told us she has a child and she is the sole caregiver for her child. So then that goes into us having like a lot of AMA discharges. And they don't like that.
Yeah, that absent without lead, all that stuff too, y'all.
Against medical advice, they don't play about that. Every time we say, oh, it's AMA, well, what can we do to make it safe? A lot of it is not on us. It's on the clinical part. Like, they feel like they can go back home and take care of themselves. Who are we to stop them?
And communication is key on anything within social work, regardless health, children, whatever. Communication is key, especially within health field, because I'll never forget too, my professor brought in a hospital social worker, and she did the same scenario. A lady was in the hospital. She was in there for down there a year.
Yeah, we see it all when in the nursing facility. It's like some residents come in from the hospital. They'll be in the hospital for months, and then come to us. And then instantly have rehab say, oh yeah, long-term care. So then we have to have that conversation and it's like, that's not going to work for them. Because honestly, that won't work for me either. I've been in the hospital for months to a year. I come here thinking once I get better, I'm going home. And then you telling me I need to stay here long-term? Absolutely not.
And then going back to also too, when they're in their right mind, they have the option. They have the right to say what they want, what they don't want. And I mentioned that too because when the social worker gave that scenario to the class, I was like, my grandma went through the same thing. I'm like, they have the right to say, look, I want to stay, I don't want to stay, or with rehab, now too with future care also, you can do inpatient, outpatient. And But certain stuff too, like going back to communication, is very key because also within the healthcare, a social worker in rehab, everybody just needs to be on board, especially with that within the deep discharge. So it won't be no AMA, all that, because it's serious, y'all. Like, I work at a future care, like I said too, but I was on the dietary side, like the food stuff. But as a person that is nosy and was going to school for like learning like human counseling and stuff, I'm like, bro, this patient cannot leave right now. If accidents are happening, they're falling, and then too, you got to think outside those walls, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And then when a social worker like us come in, we're doing what's best for their care, because our job is to make sure, okay, we are obeying what they want.
Yep.
Or trying to make an agreement with them to understand, look, I know you want to leave, I know, but think about the safety. Because also, too, my dean, you'll probably meet the chairperson, hopefully. She was a hospital social worker. Mm-hmm. She said it's been times where she would have to try, it felt like make a deal type situation for the safety of the client.
Yeah, that definitely happens too. I really feel like I find myself trying to reason with residents all the time. Like, you know, we don't have a discharge date from your insurance yet, so are you willing to wait until that date comes? Just to work on rehab a little bit more so you can get back to that baseline. But a lot of times these residents, like you said, they in their right mind. So they have the right to say, oh, I'm not staying. And that's where confusion comes from too, because our administrator, he's very involved as well. And so we have this morning meeting called PDPM. I forget what it stands for, but it's basically when we look at the clinicals for all the residents and like their discharge dates from therapy. So most of the time, the dates from therapy are just projections. And so we have to go based off of that. But oh my gosh, that threw me off.
I'm sorry. Look, like, I never seen this happen in the studio. I just like,
oh my gosh. But yeah, we have to like go based off of those dates. And so a lot of times we are reporting pretty much every day. So when they ask what's the discharge plans, we tell them, and then they say, oh, well, that's not going to be safe. And then we follow up and say, well, they already made their mind, and they're set on going home.
And they're in their right mind, too, because I'm not going to lie, y'all, when social work, and I thought, okay, it's everywhere. As a person that worked in the nursing home, like, just dietary-wise, I was like, I don't know if I can be a social worker for the elderly, because I like, even with dietary wise, and like I seen the stuff Dylan is talking about from the outside, I just be like, they're going to eat me up alive if I was a social worker. And then it's so funny because like you never know what to expect, regardless of what environment you're in for social work, whatever clients you're working with, small, older.
You gotta be prepared for anything, because you can have a chill day one day, and then the next day, it's a full moon in there,
and you run around like a chicken with your head cut off for real.
Yep, and it's happened a lot. I don't know. Nursing, healthcare is definitely a field that you gotta be prepared to work in as far as social work. Just because of everything that come with it, like it's issues from nursing, issues from dietary, and everything falls back on social work. So you gotta get used to that too, because it happens. It happens, and I had to get used to it because I'm talking to my supervisor all the time, like, that's not our job. And she's like, yeah, I know, but they think it's our job. So it's really that part too. And then you really have to set the boundaries with staff. You got to set the boundaries with staff, residents, their families. This is not my scope of practice, but I can direct you to who can answer like this question that you have. And a lot of times they don't want to take that for an answer, but you still got to do it.
No, going back to seeing firsthand with dealing with setting the boundaries. When you come to social work, they teach you in university empathy, compassion, active listening. Setting boundaries are big one. Even in your personal life, you have to make sure you form that into your profession, especially as a social worker. Setting the boundary on what you can take and what you're not going to take. If my title is a social worker, my job role in healthcare, making sure discharge, client got this, got that. School social worker, I deal with IEP kids, I deal with 504 plans. If I pick up doing homeless stuff, that's it. I'm not doing your job because it backfires on me if something's not right and we're getting into it.
Yes.
I've seen firsthand, especially when social work is a field that's mainly with women. So you'll be shocked sometimes, like they say too, you have to leave your feelings at the door. But sometimes, don't get me wrong, we all go through the motions. We're seeing it through school, social work, healthcare. You're on your feet. You sit down.
If I'm not sitting down, I'm running around the building all day.
Man, if you even get a chance to sit down, probably to bite something or drink something. And it's ever so rare. And
I'd be lucky if I can get a sip of water.
What? You're on your feet constantly because you're serving, you're doing your job, make sure your client is getting the stuff that they need. And the thing too is, as social workers, we make sure the clients is getting what they ask for. Their rights are being served. We're not forcing them to look. Gotta do this, gotta do that. No.
Yeah.
Because that's what they think too. Oh, you're making me. I'm not gonna make you do this. Because too, that's where the compassion and empathy come in. You gotta put yourself in their shoes. And that's where too, even within healthcare and with school social work, people be like, it might not make no sense. Put yourself in the client's shoes, the child or the adult.
Yeah.
Safety is a big thing, especially within our city. Safety is, you gotta make sure your head's on a swivel. Because say for instance, if dealing with a discharged person and it don't seem right, that's gonna backfire on you.
Yeah.
Because you also gotta make sure too, you save your tail. And safe is called safe face.
Yeah.
Even in the hospital and dealing with medical field, nursing home, hospital, private practice, you have to make sure you're saving your face and making sure that you're following the book.
Yeah.
If not, you're doomed.
Yeah.
Same thing with children.
And it's definitely gonna come back to you.
What? One way or another.
Yeah.
And then when you get your license, your license online for everything.
Exactly.
Like everything you do, you have to make sure you're doing it right. And that's what I love too. If you're a person that knows to the T, set that boundary. Like, look, as a social worker, this is what I'm here to serve and what to do. I don't do that.
Yes.
That's not me. Maybe I can help you, but I'm not going to take it on because once you do that, pew, that's your caseload now.
Right. Yep. And I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm really glad you brought that up because, like I mentioned, we get a lot of homeless residents. Mm-hmm. And we just recently had a guy come in from out of state. He was from New York. And he was here handling his business or whatever. He got a discharge date, but that, I don't know, the homeless part with us to work on is also tough too. Mm-hmm. Because finding shelters are not as easy as people might think it is. Mm-hmm. You can't just walk into a shelter and say, I need help. So with us, we have to call the Maryland shelter hotline. Mm-hmm. And then you got to put in a whole referral, and then they go through their separate shelters within the city. Mm-hmm. But that's difficult for us because they don't even answer the phone.
And that's a big issue, especially within our city. Baltimore is so big, but stuff gets so small.
Yeah.
And as social workers, some of us, I know some friends that just graduated of mine. They're doing social work stuff, but as a social worker, regardless, we're doing case management stuff.
Yeah.
And finding those resources for our clients is so hard.
It's difficult because
it's very difficult. And
most times we have them, most times we don't, and if we do have them, they're limited. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he got a discharge date, and we still weren't able to find him nowhere to go. So I'm like, listen, I don't want you to leave because it's not safe. And he looked me dead in my face and said, the streets are safer than shelters, which 9 times out of 10 can be the case because you hear the stories about issues with stealing, aggression, stuff like that. But even still, it's my job to do my due diligence to get you somewhere as safe as possible.
Yeah.
Mind you, he's in his right mind. And he's like, I get it, I understand, I hear what you're saying, but I'm still leaving. And he left. The next day, he left. And that was it. But we still try to do our due diligence, you know. We order any equipment that they may need. We set up home health, at least so they can try to, like, continue to get nursing and physical therapy, occupational therapy. But, like, stuff like that is really difficult. And I feel like now, we got to have at least, like, 9 or 10 residents in there that's homeless. And when our staff ask about, like, what we're trying to do to get them out of there, it's, like, the same thing. It's literally repetitive, like, we have to go through these processes, but it's difficult for us because they're not really assisting. So it's a lot. Nursing, you really got to be ready for it, because it can be a different like field than what you're used to. You just got to have the heart for it, honestly. And then the tough skin, honestly, because older adults, they can be mean.
Yeah,
they can be mean.
Yeah,
I done got cussed out, told them getting sued.
Oh,
so you gotta be able to take it to the chin, honestly. Yes,
and even with children, like that's
kids is mean too. Like
y'all, as a person that I am, and I tell people all the time, when you gotta be articulate in every field that you are, because I swear, and then with any client, old, young, little, baby, you have to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
Children, baby, meeting them where they are. The girls, it wasn't as, I was a little bit scared. I ain't gonna lie, because some of them were bigger than me. It'd be in the 6th grade. And I was like, oh God, like, they the sweetest as pie. Right, but they the sweetest as pie. They the ones that become attached to you. From conversations, they get a feel of you. You know, they go, my first session, y'all, I'll never forget. It was a half a day they had. They would bugging me like, who the hell is this lady? Why are we in this, mind y'all, my office was very small. But we made the best out of that thing, okay? Man, first day, half a day, I had journals, everything for them. They was like, who is this lady? But then we did little, like, test runs. I would see them every other out the week, one day out the week and stuff, and just vibe, and then they was there. The boys, y'all, that's the ones that gave me the beliefs. One day, because certain schools, they do indoor and outdoor arrival. One day, it was kind of a little cold, and I was like, they need to be inside. And they told me to let the kids know it was outside. I was like, hey, good morning, y'all. Unfortunately, it is outdoor arrival, whatever. This little boy like, what is what? I said, hold on. The little voice in my head was like, E, don't cuss that boy out. Don't jack him up enough, man.
I'm about to yoke you up. Who are you talking to?
I said, and the thing too is, even by us being young, we still look like little babies to them too.
Yes.
And they think that they're talking to one of their peers.
Listen here, I'm young, but I'm not old either. I'm right there in the middle.
Right.
So,
man,
I can meet you in the middle if you want me to.
Well, it was early in the morning too at that, y'all. I had to be there at 7:45, and they had to be at school by 8 o'clock. And some of them get there early. And some of them who get there early, they can go downstairs, get their breakfast or whatever. Y'all, it's early in the morning. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it is cold. This little boy just really told me what? And I was like, it's outdoor arrival. You know, your teacher's gonna get you. Have a nice day. I walked by my way, decided, and got myself together. But it had me like, who the heck? Like,
yeah.
Oh,
it's like that. It's like that with the old folk too. This man, he told me I needed to do something, and I told him I cannot do that. And he said he's going to sue me for $150,000.
Oh, jeez.
And I walked past him and I said, you won't get it from me. So you can try. But it's like, sometimes you can't even be paying attention to what some of these residents are saying. Half the time they're just saying random stuff.
And,
like, sir,
do
you look like I got $150,000?
No, I'm in school too.
I would not be right here right now. I'll be doing somebody's island. But the mouths, slick. You gotta be slick back a little bit, not gonna lie.
In the most professional way
in the most professional way as possible.
Because I'm telling y'all, just dealing with clients, especially with older and children, once again, you have to be articulate as possible. Because sometimes too, when you get really close with the children, they start saying some stuff. You be like, all right. You
can't say that around me, please.
It was so bad, y'all. For sessions, I got a picture of the board. I left the board at the school. So it would like get the kids a little type of sense of momentum of remembering. But y'all, it just throws you by far. Like, did you just say this to me?
Like, please relax. Yeah, kids. I can't wait to start my job with these kids. I'm so excited.
Starting with that, y'all, this is the main topic that we want to discuss. Dylan wanted to point out how it is to be a young social worker in a social work major, and we hit that. Now she's transferring to the National Treasure, Morgan State University.
I'm so excited.
And she is going to be, her concentration is going to be School of Social Work. Y'all, before we recorded, we had a whole full-blown conversation, y'all. And it was bad because, I'm not going to lie, like I tell y'all, everything is raw and uncut that I do. Even with the environment I would guess, this is natural habitat stuff. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. Our worlds has, like, reversed, flipped. I did undergrad at HBCU. I'm doing grad school at a PWI. She did PWI for undergrad, and she's going to the HBCU for her master's. And I told her, you're going to love it. You're going to love it.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
But when she said she changed it from healthcare to social work, for school social work, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
We gotta hear this. What motivated this?
When I started school, I already knew what my major was gonna be. Like, I already know I want to do social work. Cool. So then, all right, what you gonna do when you graduate? I want to work with kids. What? Why? Because I like kids. Like, they're easier to talk to in a sense. Like, Jesus. I can't sit and have no long conversation with an older adult. Because at one point, I'm gonna have to say I have to go. But with kids, once you get used to them, once they get used to you, it's like, I got a little bonus brother or sister, honestly. So that's really been the main thing. I wanted to work with kids since I started real life, middle school and high school. And I know that sounds crazy because it's like, whoa.
Bless your heart.
You jumping in the deep end already.
Bless your heart.
I don't know, babies.
Give me the babies. Give me the babies.
I don't know. I can't do the babies. Once you start crying, I'm sorry. I gotta give you back to your mom.
Yeah, let me get the in between babies and then they get middle school. That's me. High school, I'm a little like, they're bigger than us regardless.
Yeah, like, what are y'all feeding your kids? Because I was not this big in high school.
No,
but I don't know. Plus, I think working with Sutton Scholars, shout out to them. I think they gave me a little bit of experience anyway because I was an aide, and this was my first time starting, I was an aide, and they gave me the 12th graders.
Oh,
and I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know how they going to react because I'm new. Like, I've stopped in for some of the events last year, which was cool. I've been so bad. But how are they going to feel with me being there every day? I'm like, oh my God, I'm nervous. Because 12th grade, it's senioritis. I don't got to do nothing.
They grown. They ready to go.
Like, I don't blame them because I felt the same way. I'm done with school. But at the end of the day, program is great. I love literally all of them. And then it's really the comfortability with the kids and them, and vice versa. Like, if they're comfortable with you, they're going to talk to you about anything.
Yeah, and that's very, very important within working with any field, dealing with clients. Once you give them a sense of letting them know, like, you have the voice to say whatever you please, but confidentiality is a big thing. Like, I make sure, like, they be like, okay, so, like, role play, all times role play. I be like, hey, I'm such and such, you know, but before we get to the session, I just want you to know that everything you and I discuss is confidential unless you're trying to harm yourself or others.
Right.
And that's when, it gets down and dirty. Thank God, knock on wood. So far, I haven't had to deal with that. But sometimes it may happen because, life is life. Yeah. Life be happening and people have,
And be life and hard.
Yeah. But we also want to make sure, we keep safety plans, everything on deck, regardless for our clients, because it's life, and we understand that things get heated and it gets turned up and rowdy. So,
I'm excited. I can't wait to start school. I'm so pressed. I can't wait. I told my homegirl, as soon as I get on campus, I'm getting a hoodie.
Oh, baby.
I gotta get me a little piece of merch. I know it's gonna be like an arm and a leg, but
I tell people all the time, go to Sam's Club. Most of my merch is from Sam's Club. Yes, Sam's Club has Morgan gear. Even some college stores online, black boutiques like Black and Scholar. That's how I got my sweater. Man, that sweater was like $100 for homecoming week. But I digress. I wear it proudly. So
I'm really just so excited. I can't wait. I've been wanting an HBCU experience from undergrad, so I can't wait. I'm finally finna get it going. Can't wait. Oh my gosh,
it's worth it. Like, going to a HBCU is worth it. It's so worth it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna miss my university, but I'm most definitely gonna be back. And so. Yeah, I'm gonna be back. I tell people all the time too, you need help, anything, look, I got everything in here. Like, my classmates be like, can you help me with this? Do you remember this? Alright, look, here. So that's why I love too at HBCU, you get those connections with your people, and y'all be like unstoppable.
Yes, like being at a PWI, it was alright, but like my class was actually really tight knit, surprisingly. We had like two guys in our class.
Yeah, that's how
the majority was girls, and a lot of us, it was a mix, but majority of us were black girls. I'm like, oh, I love this.
Yeah.
And we believe we was helping each other out as much as we could. So I'm so ready to get that feel.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
You're gonna love it. I ain't gonna lie, like, as a transfer student, it was scary, but it was fun. It was fun. Even though they gave me headaches, but most of the headaches sometimes they come from just the assignments.
Yeah.
But we just thugged it out and we got the grades and it paid off. So I tell everybody, do what's for you. Go on to school, HBCU, PWI, whatever. As long as you get what you came here for, it's worth it. But also have some fun in the meantime.
Yes.
Practice that self-care. Set them boundaries. And you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. And I feel like Dylan will have a very good time at Morgan because we have our new building. So you get the feel of that.
Okay.
And masters, the professors, they're older, but they get it cracking. Okay? They get it cracking. And you're going to really love it. Like, trust me, everything is going to go all right. It's going to be all right.
Yes. I don't know. I'm not even nervous. I'm just excited. They said orientation in July. I will be there. Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Mm-hmm. Get me on campus already.
Yeah. It's super dope. It's super dope. I love when people talk about education, especially because you don't see a lot of people going back to school and just even going for grad school.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people do stop at their bachelor's. And then, especially, I'm glad you hit that. I know we running out of time a little bit, but you hit the part of going back to school. Yeah. Especially with our class graduating during COVID. Pandemic. I was fighting for my life, but I stayed because I'm not used to, I can't do work on the computer every day because then I'm not going to do it. No. So, and I did see a lot of my classmates, like, go for that 1 year and then like figure out that it's not for them. That's fine. And I say that to everybody anyways, like school is not for everybody. As long as you figure out what you want to do and like you progress with that, that's fine.
Yes.
So
shout out to all the men too going back to school. Yes. Oh my God.
So proud of y'all.
The timeline of black men going to school, getting certifications and stuff. I was over there like,
I'm so proud of y'all. Like, just grad season in general just fills my heart because it's like,
it's so hard.
A lot of people be counting black people out for literally everything. So to see our demographic graduating from schools in our city, let's start there. So I'm so proud. I don't care who it is. If you on my timeline, I'm liking it, I'm commenting. I don't care because you deserve to be celebrated in this major accomplishment. Yes. I just love grad season so bad. Yes. It just made me feel so good.
Yeah, so shout out to all the grads out there. The ones going back to school. Because y'all, I'm not going to lie, since school been over, I've been bored. I'm working and doing the podcast, but it's like, dang, I ain't gotta worry about nothing 59 no
For
more,
real.
nothing. But when you go back, like, I'm excited. I'm nervous because I'm going to a PWI. I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. It's like, once you get that HBC life, it's like, oh, but
Yeah.
I got faith. I'm here for it, and I'm gonna make the best out of it.
As you should.
So, y'all, this was so lovely.
This was a great conversation.
So lovely. Thank you so much for coming on here to talk about social work. I cannot wait to hear how Morgan gonna be treating you. I see you at homecoming.
Yeah, I can't wait. This is gonna be my first Morgan homecoming.
I see you at homecoming. I'll be an alumni. I'll be like, dang, I feel old, but I'm so young. But y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I probably just, I'm like, I'm probably go back for another degree. I don't know yet, because when you young and you in school and that's your job and you love like education, I'm so passionate about it. You be like, all right, I'll get a PhD.
For real, I can just keep going.
I get a PhD.
I can get all the letters behind my name at this
point. Do what you gotta do, my friends. I'm so proud of y'all. I'm so proud of you as well, Dylan.
Thank you.
It's gonna work out.
Proud of you too, girl.
It's gonna work out. It's going to work out. It's all going to make sense. If y'all don't remember one thing, just remember, set them boundaries. Self-care is a must. Empathy, have empathy, have compassion, be an active listener, but also just do what's best for you. Okay? And on that note, you guys will hear from me and us soon, because Dylan will be coming back also to talk about her experience as an HBCU student.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
So again, I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck at going to the national treasure.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Oh man, come on, don't fail me now. Don't fail me now.